I would classify this fight as an interesting one because we have one of multiple Liverpudlians on the card in Meatball, Molly McCann, looking to right the ship, coming off of 2 straight losses, taking on South Korea's own Firefist, Yeon Kim, who's been training at Syndicate MMA. A big difference for her, and she's been there for a time or two, and also involved in the Instagram stories, or vice versa, of Marcelo Rojo. So I thought that was kind of a weird combination of people, but it is a combination nonetheless, and a neat one. And for Yeon Kim, I'll be totally honest with everybody out there, and I said this in the last video that we did on Yeon Kim before she fought Alexa Grasso. I have no sweet clue what we're going to get out of her fight over fight. Because her volume's not the best, but she's one of the most well-rounded people in terms of having a background in MMA. I'm going to read you the credentials, and then we're going to try and pick through this fight, because I see it as being very close, and if I'm not mistaken, the odds are very close for this one too. Yeon Kim is a black belt in Wushu. She's a black belt in Hapkido. She's a former Deep Jewels champion. She's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu purple belt. She's 11-2-1 in amateur kickboxing. She's 6-2 in amateur boxing. She's 3-0 in amateur MMA. She's 9-3-2 in professional MMA. She's got one of those backgrounds where you're like, man, this is a person that's a force to be reckoned with. When she came into the UFC, I thought that was going to be the scoop. And then, if you don't know anything about Yeon Kim and you just look at the picture, the graphic that's next to us, you might see the fact that she's 3 inches taller than McCann. She has a 10-inch reach advantage over McCann. But she has those advantages over most of the fighters that she takes on, and she never really uses them because she does have a nice jab when she pumps it out there, but she's such a counter striker that her boxing's so good, she uses it, and it's almost to her detriment. I mean, her last fight, Alexa Grasso's a good fighter, but Yeon Kim was so much bigger than Alexa Grasso. Like we were talking before he came on. JJ Aldrich, Vanessa Demopoulos look cartoonish, the difference in size. Yeon Kim versus Alexa Grasso, huge difference in terms of size. The biggest thing that really kind of forced Kim's hand was the fact that she doesn't throw kicks, ever. She hardly ever throws kicks. She's thrown kicks. The last time she did was when she lost to Antonina Shevchenko, where she threw some kicks, and she had some success. But normally, it's below 10% of her total strikes are kicks. It's more around 4 or 5%. And in the fight against Alexa Grasso, Matt, I made a point of writing it down. She threw 3 kicks against a primary boxer. Just 3.
Alexa Grasso kicks quite a bit, though.
But she's more known as a boxer. She lost that fight. All 3 judges had a 30-27 for Grasso. A little bit more volume in every single round. Kim is one of the most frustrating fighters out there because I think she's a good fighter. It's just she doesn't really show it every time.
That's where we differ. I gotta be honest, I don't think Yeon Kim is a UFC caliber fighter, and you just have to look at her wins and her losses in the UFC to tell you the whole story. She beat Nadia Kassim. I don't care. She beat Justine Kish when she was 42 years old, and that was after she pooped herself against, what's her name?
Like, it's just hot take, Tony, that's enough.
And Melinda Fabian's one of the worst fighters to ever walk into a UFC octagon, and I don't feel bad for saying that whatsoever. I know I'm talking a lot of crap right now about Yeon Kim's level of competition, but it's true. Her wins are not impressive whatsoever, but her losses are to half-decent fighters, and that is the problem. Like, Alexa Grasso is a good striker, and she is a dynamic fighter on the outside, and the weird thing about Yeon Kim is I think she moves way too much on the feet. I know that's a weird thing to say, and a lot of the times we like to praise fighters for using their footwork, because footwork can kind of be used as 2 different things. Footwork can be used offensively, like Max Holloway, where you're always moving forward, pressure your opponent, or it can be used defensively, like Yair Rodriguez, for instance, where he's constantly switching stances, moving forwards and backwards. Don't know why I said Yair, because he hasn't fought in a while, but I guess the example still stands. With Yeon Kim, it's like she's on skates. She moves around so much on the feet, but she doesn't ever plant and throw. And that really is the weird thing about Kim. We bring up all of her backgrounds and karate, taekwondo, and whatnot. You'd think she would kick at some point.
Not one of her backgrounds. Wushu, Hapkido, BJJ, kickboxing, boxing, MMA.
Sorry,
you went with taekwondo and karate.
You would think with the kickboxing background, she would at least implement some of that into her game. But that is the thing that is apparent. She does not kick whatsoever. And it is odd because most fighters who do use the footwork really well, they're trying to set you up to walk into big strikes. Now, yes, boxers do this, but we see this a lot from kickboxers. And the weird thing about Yeon Kim, she doesn't use the clinch as effectively as you'd really like. She can get to it, don't get me wrong, but her takedowns are never, I get the takedown, then I'm getting a lot of top control from it. It's a lot of takedown, then we scramble. It's never a takedown into a dominant position, and that does worry me, because for Molly McCann, everyone's going to bring up the boxing and how, oh, she's a boxer. That's what she does in MMA. I really think Molly McCann's more of a wrestler first in MMA. When I think of Molly McCann, she does shoot a lot of double legs throughout her fights. And it's weird because sometimes it can be a strength of hers. Go back to the Priscilla Cachoeira fight. She wrestles very well in that one. But it makes her tired when she does it because it's not her natural background.
That's her only fight where she had any success in wrestling. In the other one, she has a 29% takedown accuracy in the UFC, 28% takedown defense. The Cachoeira fight, she gets what? I guess Bell beats you. She gets 5 takedowns in that one. She gets 2 against Lipsky. She gets 2 against Cachoeira.
That's a lot more than just 2.
She gets taken down 5 times against Tyler Santos. She gets taken down 7 times against Lara Procopio. And again, you look at it for McCann, she was 17-0 as an amateur boxer coming into MMA. She has a positive strike differential. Kim has a negative strike differential. And listen, this is a Phil Swift special because if you look at the numbers, these two take a lot of damage. They also give a lot of damage. And really, most of their fights go to decision. I have a hard time with this one because for McCann, 2-fight skid against decent fighters. I actually think Lara Procopio is a pretty good fighter. I know she didn't win her last time out, and I know she didn't beat Carol Hossa, but that was a close fight up a weight class on short notice. And I think for McCann in that one, yeah, that's tricky. Yeah, that's tough. I think Tyler Santos is a really good fighter. For Kim, she was supposed to come back in May of this year and take on Poliana Botelho. That fight fell out. This fight was booked for August. Then it was moved again. Of course, this card was supposed to happen in England. It would have been a hometown game for McCann. And you talk about fighters from Liverpool. She's very close with Paddy Pimblett, who's also on this one. So I have a really hard time with this fight because in my mind's eye, I think Yeon Kim is a complete fighter. I just don't see it very often. And for Molly McCann, I think, okay, she can wrestle, but sometimes she's one of those fighters that gets her hands wrapped around for the double leg, and then she gets stuck. And then when you get stuck, you burn clock, you burn your arms, and then you give the opportunity for a fighter like Kim to have a lot of success. So when I have a look at the odds for this one, Matt, Kim is coming in as a slight favorite. She opened a -190. She's -117 right now. That line corrected itself really early on. For Molly McCann, she opened a +165. She's -105 right now. McCann, the second biggest mover and shaker on the card at a 42% clip. If we have a look at Tapology votes, I haven't looked at them. You haven't looked at them. They're going to be a surprise. 488 total votes. 59% Kim, 93% by decision. 41% that have McCann, 91% by decision. Yeah. Probably going to hit the over 2.5 rounds. Probably going to hit fight goes to decision. And I bet you those odds are somewhere around a -200. Either or, like 200, 250, 200.
Way more than -200.
300. Like this fight to go to decision is going to be heavily weighted. That would be pretty much all I go with because I see this one as a 50-50. Who are you picking here?
How many kickboxing titles does Bia Malecki have on a world stage?
Muay Thai titles.
Sorry, how many? Like 19? This is the problem with Yeon Kim. A lot of her accolades are fluff, I think. There, I said it. She doesn't fight like a fighter who has the sum of the parts that she has. Like, she doesn't have that crazy jiu-jitsu background that it would claim that she does. I think she's going to struggle in this fight. I really do. She's a fighter who struggles when people do get on the inside of her range. And that's really all Molly McCann's going to be able to do in this fight. Yeon Kim has the physical assets that should be able to win her this fight. But I just don't think she has the skills to back it up. I think Molly McCann's going to be able to get on the inside, have a little bit of success with her boxing. And like you said, yes, she does get stuck on a lot of those takedown attempts, but I don't think Yeon Kim's going to be pulling a guillotine like she's Brian Ortega up against the cage. And the thing is that Molly McCann is at least going to be burning minutes and winning those moments throughout the fight. It's not a great pick, but I do think Molly McCann's going to be able to win this one by decision.
Grasso was able to take Kim down. Nadia Kassem was able to take her down. Antonia Shevchenko was able to take her down. She did finish poor Nadia, and Nadia's UFC run was not very good, so there is that. I see it as being a really close fight. I'm going to edge Molly McCann ever so slightly. I know there's a lot of people in the comment section that are going to point to the height, the reach advantage. And maybe when I see these two face off on Friday, I'll have a different view of this one. Listener and viewer note, this card's early on Saturday. I checked it on the UFC website. It starts at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. That's when the prelims start. So I guess set your watch. If you're on the West Coast, I mean, have your breakfast with this one. But yeah, I'm ever so slightly going with Molly McCann, and it's not one of the more confident picks on this card. So both of us going with England's McCann. Let us know down below in the comment section who you have, because it is very much a 50-50 type of affair. We got a lot of great fights on this card. I'm looking forward to Jonathan Martinez, Marcelo Rojo. I'm really looking forward to our main event. Derek Brunson taking on Darren Till. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, as we always say. Let's get into it.